Welcome back, everyone. Today we're taking a deep dive into the world of Hedera. Hedera, or HBAR, as some of you might know it.
Right.
You guys sent in a ton of really interesting articles about Hedera lately.
Yeah, a lot going on there.
New partnerships.
Partnerships galore.
Some pretty serious price action.
Oh, yeah.
And even some really in-depth analysis of what makes Hedera tick.
Some really deep dives.
Clearly something's up with this platform, so we're
Yeah.
going to try to figure out what it is.
Yeah, let's get to the bottom of this.
So
Yeah.
one of the things that makes Hedera stand out is that it's not just another blockchain, you know.
Yeah.
It's going beyond just being like, you know, faster or cheaper transactions.
Right.
It seems like they're aiming to build this whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
And this recent surge of partnerships we've seen is really pointing to a very deliberate strategy, I think.
I think you're right about that.
So we know that Hedera isn't your typical blockchain, right? It uses this Hashgraph technology for consensus.
Mm-hmm.
So for our listeners who might not be totally familiar with that, what's the real difference here?
Mm-hmm.
What is Hashgraph? Like, it can't just be about speed, right?
No, you're absolutely right.
There's got to be more to it.
Yeah, speed is a factor.
Yeah.
But Hashgraph offers some fundamental advantages over traditional blockchains.
Okay.
It's not just about, handling 10,000 transactions per second.
Right.
Although that's pretty impressive in itself.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty fast.
Yeah, but it's about how that speed translates to security and efficiency.
Okay.
So imagine a network where transaction finality is nearly instantaneous.
Wow.
And the cost is a fraction of a penny.
Really?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Well, it has huge implications for businesses.
Yeah.
Especially those dealing with sensitive data,
Right.
high transaction volumes.
So like financial institutions or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I'm starting to see why people are excited about this, but how does this actually translate to real world use cases? What is Hedera actually being used for right now?
Well, one area where they're making a lot of waves is tokenization.
Tokenization.
Yeah,
Wow.
Specifically the tokenization of diamonds.
Diamonds. Okay, that seems like a very
It does.
specific and maybe even surprising application for blockchain.
Yeah.
So help me understand this a little bit.
Sure.
What's the connection there?
Well, it might seem unusual at first,
Yeah.
but it addresses a real problem in the diamond market.
Okay.
Think about it.
Okay.
Investing in physical diamonds has traditionally been very complex.
Yep.
You need expertise to evaluate quality.
Mm-hmm.
Secure storage is a hassle.
Yeah, for sure.
And the market generally lacks transparency.
It can be tough to know what you're actually getting.
Right. It's not exactly beginner friendly.
Yeah, it sounds kind of intimidating.
It is.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've always kind of been intimidated by the whole idea of investing in diamonds,
Right.
even though they're beautiful and historically they've been very valuable. So how does Hedera change this? What's the difference?
Well, this is where tokenization comes in.
Okay.
So by creating digital tokens that represent ownership of specific diamonds,
Mm-hmm.
Hedera makes diamonds more accessible to everyday investors.
Interesting.
Suddenly you can invest in fractions of a diamond.
Really?
You can track its value transparently
Wow.
and trade it with ease.
That's
It's like having digital shares in a diamond.
interesting.
Yeah, but without the headaches of physical ownership.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So this is where our deep dive into Diamond Standard comes in, right?
Exactly.
We're partnering with Hedera to tokenize diamonds.
Right.
What can you tell us about Diamond Standard? Why did they choose Hedera for this? What's their story?
Well, Diamond Standard is interesting because they're not just a tech company
Right.
trying to jump on the blockchain bandwagon.
Right.
They're diamond experts with a deep understanding of the industry and its challenges.
Okay.
So they saw tokenization as a way to solve these problems. Mm-hmm.
And make diamonds a more liquid and accessible asset class.
Interesting.
And they chose Hedera for its speed,
Okay.
security, and regulatory compliance.
It makes sense.
Because remember,
Yeah.
we're talking about high-value assets here, so
Mhm.
trust and stability are paramount.
Absolutely. So it's not just some random partnership.
Really?
They really needed a platform that could handle the volume of transactions,
Right.
ensure the security of these tokens,
Mhm.
and meet all the regulatory requirements.
You got it.
Great.
And this is where Hedera's unique governance model comes into play.
Okay, tell me about that.
So unlike many other blockchain projects,
Mm-hmm.
Hedera is governed by a council of globally recognized organizations,
Oh, wow.
including Google,
Google.
IBM,
Okay.
Boeing.
Right.
This provides a level of stability and accountability
Wow.
that's crucial for attracting institutional investors and achieving mainstream adoption.
That is a really big deal.
It is. having those kind of big names involved lends so much credibility to the platform.
Definitely.
It signals that Hedera is really serious about building a sustainable ecosystem.
Absolutely.
It's not just some fly-by-night operation.
No, they're in it for the long haul.
Yeah, and it seems like a very deliberate strategy to kind of move beyond the hype and build real trust in a space that's often perceived as volatile and risky.
Right. And
The crypto space.
It has that reputation.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So it sounds like Hedera is really positioning itself for the long game here.
It seems that way.
Focusing on these real-world applications and building a foundation for a future where blockchain technology is just kind of seamlessly integrated into our everyday lives.
I think that's the goal.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're doing a pretty good job of it so far.
They're making good progress.
Yeah.
And that's what's so fascinating about this deep dive.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about the potential of blockchain.
Right.
We're actually seeing it in action.
Yeah, it's not just theory anymore.
It's happening right now.
It's happening.
It is.
And this partnership with Diamond Standard is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Hedera is building a network of collaborations across so many different industries, and that's where things get really interesting.
That's where it gets really exciting.
Yeah, so I'm hooked. Let's dive into some of these other partnerships. What else has Hedera been up to?
Oh, okay, let's do it.
Okay, so...
And the partnerships go far beyond just Diamond Standard.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when we talked about speed being a key advantage of the Hashgraph? Well, it turns out that even the U.S. Federal Reserve is exploring Hedera for faster payments.
Wow. The Fed.
The Fed.
That's huge.
It is.
I mean, they're the ones who literally control the printing press for dollars.
You got it.
What does this tell us about how seriously Hedera is being taken?
It definitely suggests they're looking at Hedera's technology as a potential solution to some real-world problems in finance.
Wow.
It's not just theoretical anymore. And it's not just governments either.
Okay.
Dell Technologies, a true titan of the tech world.
I use their laptops every day.
Right.
Yeah. What does that even look like in practice? Are we talking about blockchain-powered computers soon?
It's more about the back-end systems and how businesses manage their data and transactions.
Okay.
Think secure supply chains.
Okay.
Where you can track a product's journey from factory to store shelf with absolute certainty.
Wow.
Or imagine healthcare records stored on a decentralized, tamper-proof ledger,
Okay.
ensuring patient privacy and data integrity.
So it's less about a blockchain laptop.
Right.
And more about like a blockchain-powered infrastructure.
Yeah.
For businesses to operate more efficiently and securely.
Exactly.
Okay, so Dell's on board. The Fed's interested.
Yep.
Who else?
And then there's Mondele's International.
Okay.
They're using Hedera to improve their supply chain.
Mondele's. That's a huge company.
Which is a massive undertaking for a company with brands like Oreo and Cadbury.
Wait, so my Oreos could soon be blockchain verified.
Potentially.
I'm all for transparency in my snacks.
Right.
But on a serious note, how does this actually work in a global supply chain?
Imagine being able to scan a QR code on your Oreo package and see a complete history of where the ingredients came from, how the cookies were produced, and every step they took to get to your local store.
That's really interesting.
This level of transparency builds trust with consumers who are increasingly demanding ethically sourced products.
Yeah, makes sense.
And it gives them peace of mind about what they're buying.
So it's not just about where the cocoa beans came from.
No.
It's about the whole journey.
The entire process.
Okay, that's pretty cool. But are these companies like Dell and Mondele actually using HBAR, the cryptocurrency in these applications?
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
What's important to understand is that Hedera is more than just a cryptocurrency.
Okay.
It's a platform, an ecosystem.
While HBAR is the native token that powers the network,
Right.
the real value lies in the applications built on top of it.
Okay.
These companies are leveraging the Hedera network for its speed, security, transparency, whether or not they directly utilize HBAR itself.
So it's like building a highway system.
Yeah.
HBR might be the toll you pay to use the highway.
Okay. I like that.
But the real value comes from the businesses and services that spring up along the route.
That's a great analogy.
Okay.
It highlights how Hedera is playing the long game.
Right.
Focusing on building a robust and valuable ecosystem rather than just pumping up the price of its token.
Okay. But speaking of which, we did see that significant HBR price surge.
We did.
Almost 200% in a month.
It was a big jump.
Yeah. Do you think these partnerships are a driving factor behind that?
Potentially.
Or is it just hype and speculation?
It's likely a combination of factors. Okay. The news of a potential HBAR ETF has definitely sparked interest from institutional investors. Yeah. And the growing list of high-profile partnerships adds fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
It's early to say whether this is sustainable growth.
Right.
But it's clear that Hedera is gaining traction.
It's exciting to see blockchain technology move beyond theoretical discussions and into real-world applications.
It is.
It feels like we're witnessing the early stages of a major technological shift.
Absolutely. And with Hedera's focus on enterprise solutions and real-world problems, they seem to be well-positioned to be a major player in this emerging landscape.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm getting a sense that Hedera is doing a lot more than just chasing the latest trends in the crypto world.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
They're building something with a much broader vision, right?
Definitely. And this is where their choice of partners becomes really significant. It's not just about getting big names on board.
Right.
It's about strategic alignment.
I see.
Look at the diversity. We've got tech giants like Dell, consumer brands like Mondele, financial institutions exploring their potential, even car manufacturers focused on sustainability.
Yeah. It's amazing.
It really is.
It's like they're weaving this tapestry.
I like that.
Each partnership is adding a new thread to the overall picture.
It's a beautiful tapestry.
Yeah. And what's so cool is that it's still being woven.
Right.
You know, Hedera's story is far from over.
Yeah.
And these partnerships suggest that they're just getting started.
They're just getting warmed up.
That brings up a question that's been on my mind.
Okay.
We've seen this HBAR price surge. We've talked about these incredible partnerships. But how does this all translate to value for the average person?
Right.
Like, is this something that people should be paying attention to right now?
Well,
or is it more of a wait-and-see situation?
I think that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And honestly, I think it depends on your perspective.
Okay.
If you're looking for short-term gains, then maybe the crypto market in general isn't the best place to be. Okay. But if you're interested in the long-term potential of blockchain technology and its ability to transform industries, then Hedera is definitely worth keeping an eye on.
Okay, so it's less about, like, you know, trying to get on the HBAR rocket ship.
Right.
And more about recognizing the larger shift that's happening.
Exactly. It's about seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And with its focus on real-world applications. And this stable, governed approach seems to be positioning itself to be a leader in this space.
Yeah. They're definitely one to watch.
I think so.
Well, they've certainly given us a lot to think about. This deep dive has been eye-opening, to say the least.
It has been a fascinating journey.
It really has.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts before we wrap things up?
If there's one thing I hope our listeners take away from this, it's this: pay attention to the companies that are building the future, not just talking about it.
Right.
Hedera's focus on partnerships and real-world solutions is a sign that they're not just riding the hype wave.
Right.
They're creating something meaningful.
Something with real substance.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's what makes this so exciting.
It is.
We're not just observing the evolution of technology. We're witnessing the birth of a new era.
A new era of possibilities.
And who knows what amazing applications we'll see in the future.
The future is wide open.
If diamonds can be tokenized, what's next?
That's the question.
Real estate, art, intellectual property.
Who knows?
The possibilities seem endless.
The sky's the limit.
It makes you realize that we're really just at the beginning of this journey.
We are.
And there's so much more to explore.
So much more to discover.
Well, on that note, we'll conclude our deep dive into the world of Hedera.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for joining us. And until next time, keep exploring.